Hello, Sanger Unified. This video is going to cover how to enter in report card information for those K through 5 teachers who are printing out report cards for this first trimester. So sign into Illuminate. This is your dashboard, that front page, and we've mostly been in the grade books. So this is where you've been entering your grades, getting all that information in there, making sure that it's up to date as much as possible, all of the different assessments or assignments that you're doing, and that's all great, but that's within the grade book. And the grade book is not where we're going to find our report cards. So going back to that dashboard, in order to find the report cards and fill in some of the information, such as the social skills work habit and the comments, you're going to click on this where it says grades. So click on grades, and then under the heading report cards, choose entry. Oops. So now I have report card entry. You don't have to change anything up here. It should automatically have your students. So just click find students. Now you want to choose the correct grading period. So for the 14-15 school year, we're in trimester 1. And the report card is 14-15. This is a grade 3 teacher. So grade 3, trimester 1, and then click load. Okay, so this is what comes up. And this is a little daunting, but don't worry. You have the option here to enter by student. So entry by student or entry by field. I'll show you what each of those looks like. Say, for example, I take a student. I'm going to click on Layla. So if I'm Layla's teacher, then I have the ability to, within this one page, fill out pretty much every box for Layla. Now, just making sure you guys understand that the grade book, every time you've entered an assignment, you've chosen to link it to a specific box on the report card. Those grade books will link to that box on the report card, and it will automatically fill it in using the set performance bands. Now, there are some, however, that don't link. So for example, physical education, you're probably not making a grade book for that one grade that you're given from your PE teacher. Same thing with some of the effort grades and all of these social skills and work habits. These aren't things that we've made a grade book for, and it won't automatically be populated. Now, you have the option to print them out and handwrite it, but to save yourself some time, I would suggest doing this. So say I'm on one student. I have the option to, I'm going to skip over this science and social studies. I'll come back to that. But say, for example, social skills and work habits. Within here, I can use my OSPN and say that Layla was outstanding for self-control, but only satisfactory here, satisfactory, progressing, maybe needs improvement for stays on task, and so on. And I can fill out all of the information for that one student within these certain categories. Now I'm going to take this back so that I don't fill in this student's report card, as she is not my student, but you get the idea. Attendance, same thing. Unfortunately, I don't believe that it will automatically populate from Power School into Illuminate, but when your office manager has given you that list of attendance, you're able to put that in for each student. The promotion, don't worry about. And then there's these comments. For this first trimester, you might just put parent conference, or you might do some extra comments for trimester 1. Of course, leave trimester 2 and 3 blank because we're not there yet. And then intervention and enrichment. Say they're in a intensive, spelled correctly, intensive program, 45 minutes a day, 5 days a week. You could even talk about that they're working on phonics or blending, pretty much whatever you want, whether you as a PLC or you as a school site have kind of agreed upon what information you're putting in that intervention enrichment box. Okay, so I'm not going to click on save, but I would, had this been a real student that I'm really putting in grades, I would click in save. Now that was entering it in by student. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to leave this page. It's just warning me that I have unsaved changes, but that's okay for right now. I'm going to go back here and select my report card, and so I have that long list. Now that was entering it in by student, but one of the things that you might find are helpful is entering it in by field. So I'm just going to find where it says comments and then trimester 1. So now I have all of my students listed here along the left and a box for me to type in comments for each one of them all on the same screen. Now, depending on how you want to do it, it might be more helpful for you to kind of think of one student at a time, fill in all their information, or especially when it comes to things that you could fill down, for example, parent conferences, November 2014. I could fill that down and it automatically fills it in for each one of my students. So I didn't have to type in parent conferences 23 different times. I was able to fill it in. So that's the benefit of the entry by field. And again, there are unsaved changes on this page, but because this is not my class, I'm going to leave it. But that's one benefit of entry by field. Now, same thing for PE. Once you have your PE grades from your PE teachers, you could enter them in the OSPN. If you hover over that little question mark, it tells you the values that are valid for that. So the OSPN, if the majority of your students are at satisfactory, you could fill that down and then just go back and change the ones that need to be changed to a certain value. I'm going to take that off. If you ever have made a mistake, you can leave it blank and then fill it down and it'll erase everything. And then say I want to go from physical education to now going up to, for example, speaking and listening. That's also an OSPN. I would click on it, but nothing has changed until I click load field. Again, it's telling me that I have unsaved changes. You would want to save those changes, but because this is just a sample, I'm going to leave that page. And so now I'm on listening and speaking. And again, I can choose my grade here to put in for those students. Switch to music and fine arts. So it does allow you to go from one field to the next and fill it in for every student. So that's pretty much the difference between entering it in by student versus entering it in by field. But either way, it'll save you a lot of time and you won't have to handwrite anything. So that is how you enter in the fields that are not automatically populated by your grade books. Again, if your grade book, if you have a complete grade book for ELA, you wouldn't want to go through and put in your ELA literature or informational text box because it's already going to be populated by your grade books. That is, though, the way that, say you want to override your grade book or something went wrong and it's saying that it's a 2 when it should have been a 3, you can override that in this area, in this entry by field. So that is how you enter in specific fields within the grades for the report card. And this is, again, just for those trimester report cards. So it was grades, entry, and then go from there. And that is all. Thank you so much. Have a great day.